Hello everyone, and welcome to my teaching video. This is going to be a very slipshod, slap job, quick and dirty video that is going to sum up, and I hope that you'll be able to hear me here, sum up very, very quickly all the important points of what I learned as an artist. And it's very important for me to pass on the knowledge that I have. So a couple of things I'm just going to say right off the bat here. I don't know how long or how many of these, I don't know if this is going to turn into several videos or if it's just going to be one. But I am doing my best, and I'm going to continue to, I'm just going to put all my information out there in one go as fast as I can here. So first off, making art in hard copy media, in old-fashioned materials, because that's what I'm going to be teaching here, in old-fashioned pencil, pencil and paper media. So I think this is going to be more valuable as, not just AI, but, as those who are in power are censoring what everyday people are believing and wanting to say and wanting to pass along to each other, because there's lots of knowledge to pass on. And what I see is the safest and the best way to disseminate knowledge and information and even censored beliefs is going to be through mailers, pamphlets, and magazines, and even personal newspapers, zines and whatnot like that. So even though we thought that we were moving out of a papered society and moving into a paper-free society, we need to keep these hard copy items and how to use them. So this is going to be kind of a lesson how to use them. So now, and this is going to be a very fast sum up. So the most important things that you can have as an artist are tracing paper of any kind, and you can use vellum paper. There's a lot of vellum papers that have, these are pretty good for tracing papers. They're tougher, they're thicker, they're really good. They used to use huge sheets of these for, sorry, I have a headache and I'm having a hard time talking now, for architecture, architectural drawings, artists, architects are artists, but yeah. They used to use huge sheets of vellum paper for architectural drawings, and it gives you just enough opacity, and the paper is thicker and sturdier and better and can take a lot more abuse. It's also, the graphite rubs off a heck of a lot easier, so it is better for transferring. What I like for transferring is, let me pause for a minute here and get my thing. I have an entire binder now because of making my art supplies, making my my coloring books. But what I like the best when it comes to transferring is 8B pencils or higher if you can. These higher pencils, they almost seem to be made out of charcoal. Charcoal can be very good, but it's very permanent. I don't like that. I like graphite. It's far less permanent. And I know that 8B graphite does exist. I like 8B. I like 6B graphite pencils. I like soft graphite. The softer, the better. Anything 4B, if you can see this here, anything 4B or above, okay, is really good for, for tracing paper. So one of the most important things you can have using old school art supplies, old hard copy art supplies first and foremost, tracing paper. And I suggest, if you can get your hands on it, you know, 4B, 6B, 8B, you know, and it's B, not H. H is hard. H is very, very hard. It's B that you want. Leads, pencils, you know, even full on, this is a 4B pencil, even a full on, there we go, 4B pencil. And I wrote 4B there, but you can't hardly tell that it's a 4 or a B. It looks like 4-8, but there you go. And I gotta give myself a rest for a minute, but I'm gonna, so the next thing is stencils. So I'll talk to you about that. Okay, feeling much better now. It's weird, I get into this, it's like my lungs can't breathe when I'm talking, when I'm doing some of these videos. It doesn't make sense at all, because my problem isn't my lungs, my problem is, you know, kidneys and dehydration and my voice box going dry. So anyway, so the next thing that is very, very valuable is literally stencils. You can call them templates. And except for 2 of these, I got all of these. I got this one and I got this one. I got these in the year 2004. I got these in the year 2001, 2002. Literally that long ago, at a place called Triangle A&E in Oklahoma City, I think it was. I don't know. We really had to go to back roads and all kinds of stuff. But see, and these are going to be your most valuable items. There we go. Your most valuable items out there. These stencils. So get your hands on stencils of any time. And this I got from online, you know. This is exactly made out of the same kind of plastic as these Triangle A&E ones, but I got this off of online too, and not too long ago during Prime Month. So, my voice is going again. And I got this off of Amazon and this off of Amazon. So, what you need to know is that stencils are very, very valuable. All of these items, yes, you can draw freehand, but if you're especially, sorry, if you're especially needing, I put away some pens and they fell off the shelf. That crunching bag can't sound too great. If you're needing to draw a lot of something, if you're needing to make several copies by hand, stencils is the way to go. There are even, do I even have that here? There's, oh, well, forgot about that. Yes, there's an eraser. This is an eraser stencil. This is so that you get, there you go, nice clean lines when you're erasing. And you put this down, and it's a bit of metal that is very, very thin, and it's very bendable too. And you put this down, and you get nice, clean, sharp lines when you're erasing. So, also the other thing that's obviously going to be very valuable to you when it comes to hard copy stuff is erasers and these blending stumps. Along with any type of, you can have this, but any type of, I say finer, but finer grit sanding paper. And you can, when it comes to these, you can get this sandpaper in the hardware store. You can definitely get this sandpaper in the hardware store. So blending stumps are going to be very, very valuable. Get your hands on these. Get your hands on erasers of all kinds. I'll show you what I got. So these are the erasers. You want an especially large one you know, just a regular old eraser. Oh, it's like that Stedler, whatever. This is a Prismacolor one, but you get the point. And then you're going to want one of these larger erasers like this. I don't know what brand or whatever this is. It says blank time. I don't know. Anyway, you're going to want a larger eraser like this. I like these the best because you can hold them like a pencil and erase anyway. Then you're going to want a medium-sized eraser. And these, you can actually, I call it a click eraser. But it's a, yeah, well, Pentel click eraser. These are wonderful. These are absolutely wonderful. You can even sharpen the ends in a pencil sharpener to get a finer point. I love these. But you're going to want a regular eraser, which is the biggest of them all. You're going to want a large eraser. You're going to want a medium-sized eraser. And then you're going to want, and hopefully they still sell these, this is a Sanford Tough Stuff eraser stick. You're going to want a fine point. And this you can also sharpen. This is a very rather hard eraser, but there you go. This is the best when it comes to erasing very, very fine areas, very small areas. And you can obviously sharpen it down so you get an especially fine point. And these are my favorite supplies. And this is what has worked best for me. And so I suggest, if you're going to work with hard copy items, you know, pencil, paper, ink, what have you, get these things too. You know, even if you end up, you know, working in paint and whatnot, you almost always start with pencil. So there you go. So on to my next point. And my next point is just really, you're going to want stuff for making circles, whether it's a drawing compass. These are called compasses, just like the directional compass, but it's a drawing compass. So it does help to type in that differentiation when you're doing a search for it. Put in drawing compass rather than directional compass, and you should be able to get these. This works so much better. This Helix, just Helix brand, you know, protractor essentially is what it is. These protractors, I don't know, they don't work with me or work well for me at all. They always seem to be off, but this thing seems to be perfectly on every time. Maybe it's because it has, you know, you can size it up and everything, and you can turn this around. I don't know. This seems to give me better, more accurate measurements by far than these do. But definitely get this, but get at least a protractor. That will definitely help. This is for making very large circles, like on a canvas. You know, obviously it's about a foot long. It comes in 12 inches. So, you know, 1 foot long, 30 centimeters, millimeters, whatever that is, 30 centimeters for all of you Europeans out there. This is good. This is really good. They're not the biggest circles in the world. Obviously, they're not going to be past the 12-inch mark, but you can at least make a 12-inch circle. I really love this thing. It works really well. It's almost works as a spinner fidget toy, which is kind of fun. There you go. A little propeller sort of looking thing there. But this is really good for making circles. I guess I'll just go right on to the next thing. I gotta take a drink. Give me a minute. I'm gonna have to rest here again. So I've forgotten the rest of what I was gonna say. So I'm just gonna try to hurry and finish this up real fast. French curves are also very, very important if you're drawing freehand. This is also a bendable ruler that I got forever ago. I think I got this at Triangle A&E. I think this was for architects. So many times I needed to use this and I didn't. But all of these things give you really clean lines. These French curves are more for really freehanding things. And this one especially has been very valuable for me. I have used it a lot with a lot of things, but they're all good. Even if I've never been taught how to use a French curve, definitely look into that, look into little lessons and whatnot. I wanted to do free lessons of everything that I was taught in college and what I learned, you know, in real life, being an artist. I wanted to put up free lessons on YouTube here. I don't know if I'm going to get to do that now. You know, I had high hopes when I started filming this video, and now I'm just going, oh, maybe I can't. Something else that will help you is a lettering guide by Alvin. I just recently learned about this. I wish I had known this. This would have helped a lot. It literally helps you figure out, you know, it keeps your letters even and consistent. Have you ever written and your letters go really, really big or really, really small and you can't get them evenly spaced or something? It's like you start writing it out and you can write it out perfectly, but then you find out that you only have like so much room left to get like 7 letters, 5 letters in onto this tiny little piece of paper, and the rest of the word is taking up the rest of the paper. This fixes that. This lettering guide fixes that. You can, you know, it even comes with instructions. Thank God. I wish I had had one of these forever ago. So there you go. But yeah, any type of templates, and this will help you in drawing, photographic, even something as weird as this. I mean, look at all those. This is really good for weird curves too. This is mathematics, this is geometry, but that doesn't mean that you can't use it like a French curve, you know? So there you go. And this is literally just a little kid's template set, but you know, you take this and you start with this, and then you go from there. That's the whole point of these things. You don't adhere to these things. These help you draw. You know, you trace this leaf and you start with that, and then you go from there. You augment it, you change it, you make it better. You know, if you've ever used one of these, you know, one of these things, what you get from these templates is terrible. It looks awful. It's not good. It looks terrible. And you always have to change it. You always have to augment it. You always have to make it look better. You have to fill it in. I mean, there's a gap between this flower stem and the flower head itself, you know. I mean, and the leaves and the flower stem itself, you know. So you end up having to sit down and connect the leaves to the stem, connect the stem to the flower, you know, fix all these petals here. And that's the whole point of these templates. That's the whole point of these tracing items, you know, these drawing items. It's a starting point, and you go from there. So, and they help you remain consistent. They help you get nice, clean, sharp lines. And then the only other thing I wanted to say is that, if I can remember it all here. Give me 1 second. I got to pause again. Okay, here's something that I forgot. Also, you're going to want to get a good set of pens and whatnot. And, you know, even white, you know, pens. You know, these are my white markers. I love these. These are really, really good. They were really, really cheap on Amazon. And I got them because they were so incredibly cheap, and they've been fantastic. So there you go. Definitely get yourself a set of artist pens. So I completely forgot about that a little bit. That's very important. So yeah. So that's how you deal. Those are the supplies that you need for hard copy. And I just want to say real fast, so if you want to make, Trump Floyd is the art of making something that's better than photographic realism. It's actually making something that looks, and not just on film or on camera, but in real life, looks 3D to the point where, you know, kind of like a bird flying into a window. You go to walk through that doorway and you hit a wall. You find out that it's actually a wall. And that is Trump Floyd, where they do such an excellent job at the art that it is 3D, it's real life, it exists. You know, the one step down from that is photographic realism, where you can tell it's a photograph, but it's excellent. I mean, it is excellent. And it's just, it is amazing. And you end up being shocked to find out that it's not a photograph. Someone actually did that by hand. They sat down and they drew that. All of these items can help you create that. You know, get rulers, get templates, get, you know, even make your own templates. Get tracing paper, that'll help. And what these things do is they make it so that everything is even, you know, so that both eyes look good, so that, you know, both sides of the mouth look good, you know, both ears, you know, you don't have any oddities. And I'm telling you all this because everyone wants to recreate computer-like graphics in hard copy, in real life, by hand. Now, the way you do that is literally, first and foremost, is you use airbrushing. Airbrushing is the only way that you can get real, and I've been wanting to say this for decades, airbrushing, airbrushing, airbrushing. A poor man's version of airbrushing is spray paint. Spray paint is technically airbrushing, very technically, but spray paint doesn't give you the fine detail and control of having an actual airbrushing kit. Now, airbrushing, I've been told, takes an entire lifetime to learn. The learning curve is outrageous. It's extremely high. You have to have an air pump. It will cause you lung and breathing problems because you need to wear a mask, because you will get that paint up in your nose and your mouth and your eyes. It will be bad. So you have to wear almost no airbrusher that I've run into ever wears air protective equipment. You need to. It will mess up. You will get a fine mist of paint everywhere. There's watercolor airbrushing and there's acrylic airbrushing. There's permanent airbrushing and there's non-permanent airbrushing. Airbrushes are always getting clogged. You're always having to clean them out. You have to have a very, very loud pump to pump that air, you know, and that pump has to be going constantly while you're using the airbrush. You know, there's really good, and then the brush, the actual brush part of it where you pour the paint in and you use it, there's so many different types of brushes, some that are really bad, some that are really good, some that clog all the time, some that never seem to clog for whatever reason, some that give you more control, some that give you less control. So airbrushing is how you create photographic realism, Trump Floyd, and most importantly, computer-like graphic art in physical, hard copy, real life, by hand drawing. That is how you do it. Now, you can use other media. You know, you can use, I've seen stunningly amazing art done with pencils, just graphite. Everyday, you know, these things, everyday pens. I mean, it was absolutely shocking when an artist came on the scene and started showing off their art to us in the early 2000s. I think it was in the double digits. I don't think it was that early. But, you know, and they were like, yeah, I was bored. We were having a meeting in office and I drew this, and it was just jaw-dropping. And they did it with these pens, these office supplies, every day. Who gives a crap about them pens? All of us artists hated them because we were not at whatever level that person was at. You know, because what can you do with these? You know, and that person just, they blew me and everyone else that I knew away. You know, we didn't think that these pens were worth anything. And it turns out they were worth everything. So clearly the skill of the artist, the knowledge of the artist, the ability of the artist transcends your supplies. Is this on camera? I'm having to sit down. Sorry. I hope it's on camera. I'm going to have to cut this video off because, oh, my parents are home. That feels so weird to say that. Like I'm a teeny bopper teenager. But my parents are home. And I have to stop recording. So, But that actually kind of feels good to be like a little kid again. But, oh, I hate being sick. Yeah. I hope that I was able to impart. Unfortunately, this lesson ended up becoming just a product list, and I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean for that to happen. Um, but literally, if you want to create computer graphic type art in real life, use an airbrush. First and foremost, use an airbrush. If you can't get your hands on an airbrush, get your hands on spray paint. Spray paint, airbrushing works. If you're not going to get your hands on those two items, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to up your skill level, and airbrushing, spray paint art, that's very difficult to do anyway. So your skill level is going to have to be off the skill charts anyway. So practice, practice, practice. And I got to cut this off now. So bye.